Hi, welcome back. I'm Heather.
Hello, and I'm Seth.
And today we're going to be chatting about small business insurance. And there's 30.2 million small businesses in America. That's 99.9% of business, and we get a ton of calls asking, how do we protect ourselves? So we're going to be chatting about it today. Seth?
So, small business being the core of the American economy, um, it is what you see on Main Street, it's what you see off Main Street. But the small businesses are what really drive our country's economy. We all talk about the large numbers of dollars, derived from these large companies. But when you talk about the actual number of businesses, you're right. Small businesses comprise the majority of it. And
And
so there's some
employees, they're the job creators.
You're right. You're right. So there's very specific way to go about insuring small businesses, and I'll say small to medium businesses because everybody's interpretation is different. If you come to me and you said, "Hey, you're a small business, but I'm doing 12 million in revenue," I might think, "Well, I'm not really a small business." But under the classification of small business and insurance, there's a wide, varied um, appetite as to what actually fits that. So let's kind of talk about the coverage.
Yeah, absolutely. No one's business is small to them, and we never treat a small business like it's a
That's
small
right.
business. It's your life and it's your livelihood. So absolutely. So, like you were saying, back to the coverages. What are some of the coverages that you have for BOP? So small businesses have BOP coverage. It stands for Business Owners Policy.
Right. And a BOP is a combination of coverages. So, if you have a high hazard type of business or a really large business, a diverse business, you're not going to, go with a BOP. But a BOP consists of the general liability, which we've covered in a previous episode, as well as certain types of property. And that could be a building, it could be your business personal property, meaning your contents, or other property such as inventory, whether it's in transit or not. So those are basically the coverages that you get in a bot.
Yeah, that's what's nice about it is a BOP combines them all. So you don't have all these different coverages floating around. You don't have a ton of different policies. You have everything all in one place, easy to get at because you have enough on your hands already. So, it's just one place easy to go to. And, the coverages can be kind of wherever you need them to be. They're not going to be super high because this is for smaller business, but they can actually go pretty high. I mean, they'll be
Mhm.
in the millions for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, the BOP is the best bang for the buck, I'll say, because it combines a whole host of different coverages, not just the liability and not just the property, but a lot of carriers out there, they throw in these other endorsements like sign coverage, whereas a commercial policy is not going to have that. Maybe a sublimit of data breach, cyber liability, property in transit, or even money on premises. And so each carrier has their own forms and their own bells and whistles that they will give you. And that's a really great way to capitalize on the value of the bomb.
Yeah, you're usually getting a lot more bang for your buck than if you were to buy them separately. And there's also coverages that you can add on to them if you need it, such as if you're a delivery company, you can add on commercial auto. What are some other things that we can add on?
So, workers' comp, um, in certain industries, professional liability is also necessary.
Yeah.
But we've talked about general liability being the cornerstone of your coverage, and this is going to suffice for that if your business is eligible for the BOP. When I was writing customers, I always tried to put them in a BOP just for the simplicity sake of it, because it's a one billing cycle instead of multiple billing cycles.
Absolutely. And some of the industries that really benefit from BOPs, like you'd said earlier, it's lower risk industries, but they vary pretty widely
Mhm.
across the board. I mean, you can have it anywhere from like professional services, like if you're doing like legal services, like a paralegal, or even if you own offices like medical offices, not the doctors, but the offices themselves will
Mhm.
have to have their own policy, and that can be a BOP policy. Accountants, bookkeepers, like you said, you can add on that professional
Mhm.
liability to it, and sometimes it'll even come with it. um, Restaurant owners, huge, and restaurant owners
Mhm.
right now, a lot of something that you don't know right now is a lot of the premiums right now are coming down for restaurant owners. I just got some notifications today, which is pretty exciting. So you have restaurants, and you can add on liquor liability to that. So that's great. Restaurants, bars, nightclubs with liquor liability; those are all BOP policies.
Mhm.
if you own a grocery store, or a clothing store, a hardware,
Mhm.
any sort of store really where you're selling things, you have inventory. Those are great. And what also, like you were saying earlier, what's good about that is you have employees who are going to be handling your money. And a lot of the time, you might, if you have just a general liability policy, you're gonna have to add on those crime insurances if you have
Right.
employees that are handling money. But if you have a BOP, a lot of the times that will come with the crime insurance, so that way that covers your employees for if they're caught, kind of, taking out of the cash register.
You know, they're
So
handed the till, right?
yeah, so that's something that's really exciting about that policy for shopkeepers and such. What else? You have florists,
Yeah.
greenhouses. Yeah.
Anything retail, anything office. There's some wholesale and
Yeah.
distributorships that can qualify for the BOP. Now, one
Mhm.
thing that you're going to want to really talk over with your agent if you have a wholesale distributorship is the product liability, because on some BOP forms, product liability is excluded.
Mhm.
And especially if you're importing a product, you really need a coverage that has your product liability on that. And that's just something that you really need to spend time on with when you're talking to your agent.
Yeah, that's one thing. And also, depending, like how you said it earlier, different insurance carriers have different kind of cool add-ons to it. And so
Mhm.
your insurance agents will know which ones to go to that are good for your business and type.
Well,
Um,
and don't assume that they're all the same,
because they're
because
not.
you have the Hartford and Hanover and Chubb and Liberty and all of them, and they all have a little bit different bell and whistle. The
Hmm.
other thing they can do is that they have different levels, and if you don't ask for the levels of coverage, because they can endorse up. So let's say it's just a standard Main Street retail operation. You can buy a standard BOP, or you can buy an enhanced package, which will increase the limits, because there's certain types of businesses where you're going to want those rather than just going with the run of the mill everyday ABC type of coverage. But it does give you some flexibility. It's not just a one size fits all, is what I'm trying to say. So make sure that you go through those coverages.
And you're asking, okay, now the question is, okay, do I want the enhancement because it's going to costing me more money? But a lot of the times these enhancements don't cost very much
No.
more. They might just be another like $10, $15 a month, not even. And you're thinking, well, it's just, it's totally worth it just for your peace of mind.
So the way I used to really talk about it was, if you're talking about, let's say, $10 a month, that's $120 a year. The coverages on this. So let's say you lose $5,000 due to whatever miscellaneous loss, and it's covered by this endorsement. That $100 is well spent, and you'll feel really pretty shy about it if you don't buy the coverage and it does happen to you.
You can
That's
spend
the
that
difference.
$100 for 50 years and have one coverage or have one loss, and it'll pay for itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you're going to
Absolutely.
have more than one when you have a small business. I think we all know that. I mean,
Well, and in the insurance industry, we talk about, it's not if, it's when, and what the severity is going to be. And those limits are going to be really keen to understanding, am I really covered when the severity factor plays out?
absolutely. Absolutely. So that was this week. Thank you for tuning in for our BOP Business Owners Small Business Special. And we will see you next week. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or email us at info@elevateglobalinsurance.com. We're happy to help you out.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Have a great day.